Episode 111. Welcome to New Meta Podcast. We've got plenty to talk about. Dota Plus updates, guilds, talking about Dota content out there at the moment. Talking about some heroes, probably. Marco, welcome to the pod as always. How are you doing this week?
Doing excellent. Thank you very much.
Good to hear it. Adam, likewise, welcome to the podcast. How are you?
I am excellent as well.
Perfect. What an incredible introduction to this
That's uncommon.
Unique episode of New Meta 111. There you go.
What's
all at
uncommon?
once.
Me being excellent is uncommon, or
Both of us are excellent is uncommon.
oh yeah, okay.
Although when we get to Flame Corner later, maybe we'll change that mental state from Marco. Who knows? Let's start with how have games been. How we always start. Marco, how's Dota been treating you? Has it been equally excellent? Has it been reflective of your mood, or how have you been?
It's been a mixed bag, but overall, probably slightly positive. The flavors of the week have been a couple silencer games. Me and you enjoyed a duo where I've only got 15 deaths, but I still feel like I'm punching. And then the second silencer, I only had 8, which is still a lot, and we eventually won. But classic silencer stuff was just getting completely jumped all over and crying, but then eventually pulling it back and slicing people with glaives. And then the other flavor is Pango. I mean, a Pango episode has to be in the pipeline because I am quite the expert.
Nice.
It's quite a revered hero now.
Vector targeting.
I mean, do that in my sleep. 312. Tell you what, it's too easy.
312, but you win. That's all that matters.
Yeah, it's pretty good fun. Got the crit vibes.
Yeah, fair play. Adam, games, or you have anything else to add, Marco? I don't know.
Ricky mid, Pog, level 25 Invoker. Nothing feels better than beating down an Invoker spammer.
Yeah,
nothing feels better. So you dirty little Invoker spammer just get beaten down by Ricky.
I totally agree with that. There's one thing to be. It feels great to beat a level 25, and then it feels even better to beat a level 25 Invoker. It's just doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah, that's you lose. We lost the game before, and then everyone was like, "We have to win."
Yeah.
What does that mean? That means a Marco Ricky.
And that means me AFK with Battle Fury Ursa with like 3 kill involvement, like 45 minutes in.
Yeah, that was mad.
Yeah, that was good times. Just farming creeps, having a good time on Ursa. Yeah, it's great. Adam, games, how have they been?
Looks like I've only played 5 games so far this week. That's a light load.
Wow.
A Spectre, 2 Tusks, and 2 Queen of Pain 4s. Queen of Pain 4. I had fancied this build in my head of Combat Medic Quap, where you blink in and Greaves, and I'm 50% with it. So it's successful.
Not the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. You blink in, and it's like an axe call, because it's like, oh, look at this Quap, she blinked in so dumb. Let's kill her, and then they forget your support. So you know they're going on one of your friends. You blink in, you Greaves them, they survive, and then they try and go on you, and it doesn't matter. It's like the best axe call ever.
Yeah, that is strong. I did enjoy that Quap medic game that I played with you, although I don't think you enjoyed my Mask of Madness usage on Juggernaut.
That game made me giggle.
Giggle, not sure that's the right word.
It made me giggle when I thought about it later.
Yeah.
I think that game was very winnable.
It was definitely winnable. I had a great time in that game for a while, and then it got tough.
A lot of weight on Stan's shoulders, but it was winnable.
Yeah, there's too much weight on my shoulders, to be honest.
It was like a 4 Quap. I think I started like 6-0 or something. And then just a few unfortunate Mask of Madness presses. That's not why we lost, but it definitely, when you're already dead and you're just watching everyone play, and then you see it happen, you're just like, oh no.
Yeah, I mean, my 2 other cores combine for 825.
Yeah.
So, just throwing
Marco
that out
just
there.
never had gold. That was wild.
12 deaths on Kunkka, that's why we lost. He picked the Kunkka button. It's not a good time. Dynamic Pango.
13 deaths.
Not pulling through. I tried my best.
I don't know. That last one where you jug Swift Slash.
Yeah, that was bad. Yeah.
And then press Mask of Madness, and then you pop out and you can't spin or use your Omni Slash. You just die.
That was bad. And Marco was like, "Oh, why did the Omni Slash stop? What the fuck? Like, why did the Omni Slash stop?" I was just silent, like, "Yeah, why did it stop? Like, please don't click on my hero and see that I didn't use Omni.
Use the baby Omni.
Yeah. Well, yeah, why didn't it? Why didn't it stop?"
They were all 3 together. Like, it was gonna be amazing, and then it just like you pop out and just get exploded by everybody.
Yeah, that was rough. I mean,
that game was that game was the all chat fest.
It was the UK. They were 5 UK all chat.
Harry Styles.
Yeah, that was the Marco get baited into typing fest.
I do. I mean, just for me to go into my games and starting with this one, I really like this jug build. Phase, 1 Wraith Band, Phase, Mask of Madness, MKB. I prefer it to going Battle Fury, I think. Because every time you have Omni, if you have Mask of Madness, MKB, it's so powerful. It pushes the Omni over the edge to being into this like elite, insane spell, and like your damage is just ridiculous. You are like a glass cannon, I suppose, because you're not building towards Manta, but in the time in another game where you might have Battle Fury and like a Blade of Alacrity, you have Mask of Madness, MKB, and it's just the potential for you to get involved and use your Omni Slash off cooldown and just crush is so high that the minor extra farming speed you get from Battle Fury versus Mask of Madness is,
Mask of Madness is a good farming item anyways.
Exactly,
and
yeah.
MKB gives attack speed, so it's like you definitely do a lot during Omni between Mask of Madness and MKB.
Yeah, it feels nice. In this game, it wasn't the best because the Lifestealer went Armlet AC, Phase Armlet AC, so he actually was really difficult to kill, especially with Infest. Like, he messed me up with Infest, so I only killed him in Omni once at the start of the game, and after that it was quite difficult. But yeah, in terms of my other games, the flavor's been Pugna. I've played 3 Pugna games this week, and only won one of them, which was a hour-long, crazy slugfest game that was very fun, but lost the other 2, despite the other 2 sort of being better performances in many ways. Like, if I look at my kill scores for both of those games, I'm 15-4, 21, and then 16-6, 15 in 2 losses, and then I'm 17, 13, 19 in the win. So 13 deaths in a win. So
the second one, I was in that game as Pango.
Yeah, it was a sad one.
That one was our Sven. We had this Sven that really rubbed me up the wrong way by being a total idiot, and he's definitely finding his way into the flame corner. The way he played that game.
What tier 5 item did you get in the win?
What tier 5 item did I have in this game? Let's see. I'm clicking on Dota Buff to see. I had Force Boots for this one, which is cool. I seldom have Force Boots. I've only maybe had it like once before, so that's very cool. We had a Morphling that was crazy farmed, really, really farmed. 6-slotted, E-Blade, Scardy, Satanic, BKB, Manta. And he was getting like 3-shot by an ET, the enemy ET. Like, he couldn't strength morph fast enough for this to not die to an ET. He had Silver Edge, Basher, drums, and he would just Silver Edge and just be like, dish, 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 and like morphed, instantly died. This morph was bad, so don't get me wrong, that's not meant to happen, but I thought it was quite funny.
Well, he has 0 armor.
That's true, yeah. It can crush his morph because of that. So, yeah. Also, just play on a separate note, just played a mad game of Catan. I play like board games every week and just played the most insane game of Catan where I mean, I'm not going to go into it, but I kind of want to go into it. But it was a good game. Not the base game. Any board game fans out there will be like, "Why are you playing Catan, bro?" But I actually love Catan. Not the base game though. One of the expansions. And you ever play a board game where like all 4 players can win at the same time, and it literally could be anyone's game? And then I completely bottled a trade on the last turn. Like I could have won on my turn with a trade, and like I didn't calculate it right what I needed, and I was like, okay, I've just actually bottled it after playing for like 2 hours. And so I was like, oh, screw it, I'm just going to buy these development cards and see what happens. And then I like fluked a 1 in 15 development card, which is like the only one that would have let me win. So that was good times. Yeah, I know, major pog. It's just like the flukiest thing of all time.
Miscalculated how many sheep you needed.
Exactly. Literally, I literally miscalculated. I needed 1 more sheep than I asked for, and like the guy would have given me a trade for it if I'd asked for that. I asked for a different resource or something. I don't know. I was like tired or something. I was like deranged, and then I literally thought I'd bottled everything in one go, and I was like crying inside. And then I was like, oh well, I'll just gamble on these development cards. 1 in 15 chance to get the one I need, and then it just rolled off.
Never punished.
Easy, yeah, calculated. But there you go. Sorry about that, listeners that don't care. First order of business, hot off the press, update to Dota Plus and guilds. Where are we starting with this one? Because there's a fair few bits to talk about. Do we want to talk about Dota Plus? What are your opinions on Dota Plus? I know, Adam, you have it. Marco, you don't. Are you going to be tempted to rejoin? I kind of am. I don't know about you. What's changed here? What's going on?
I plan to keep it because I buy it a year at a time. So I it's already paid for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How much is the year?
It's like 37, I think.
I can't remember how long I bought it for. Maybe I only bought it for a month when it first came out, and then just never went back. And now I feel like because I've not had it for its entirety and not been accumulating all the levels and stuff, that I'm like, oh, it's too far gone.
Whoa. I've had my... Oh, I had almost had a heart attack there. I went in Dota, saw all my hero levels had got, like, my Lena had gone down to 5 because it was on 22. But it's 5, but when you click on it, it's, like, locked. So if I got Dota Plus again, it would jump to 22. Okay.
That would be epic.
That would be scary. Yeah, so they've added in a treasure each season, so I presume that's 4. Spring, summer, fall, winter. Only that you can buy with Dota Plus shards. Anyone can buy them, but if you're a Dota Plus member, you accumulate more shards. You also get the main thing, of course, is the hero levels with the voice lines. Everyone gets level 5 though, without being Dota Plus, so that means you get the laugh and 1 voice line. Anything else you get? You get avoid players.
Up to 25 avoids.
Yes, which is pretty
Half
nice.
A guild.
Half a guild, yeah. Yeah, strong. What do you? I mean, I don't know what you guys think about this, but I almost feel like, given they've added level 5 for everyone, are people going to be, and everyone gets to buy these treasures? Is there that much point in being Dota Plus? Nothing's really changed, has it? You just get the all chat lines. That's it. That's all you get, right?
The all chat lines, the stat tracking.
True.
Hero relics, and then you can buy those extra chat will lines, which I've never done, but like the noise ones.
Yeah.
I think
They're not new features, though, are they? They're just normal.
They added more.
Oh, they added some chat wheel sound effects.
Like the moo.
Yeah.
Pretty weak, that, though.
I mean, they never add the good ones. They just add the animal sounds and like the orchestra stuff. It's never like the epic Chinese lines or anything.
Yeah.
One of the main...
Nice Law. Oh, I want the Nice Law so bad. Nice Law.
Loads of the Battle Pass is just saying, if you've got... Sorry, not Battle Pass, Dota Plus. If you've got it, you get extra shards. Like it keeps saying about... If you've got Dota Plus, you get extra shards, or like double shards for contracts and guilds and all this. to me, it doesn't feel like there's that much new.
They also have all the quests for the new season. So it's like 51 more. I think you can get 58,000 shards by doing these quests just by playing. That's always nice to keep getting those just randomly after a match, although some of them are pretty tough. Like getting MVP. I never get MVP, so Marco steals them all from me.
Yeah. Blinking carry players. Witch Doctor loves it as well. Witch Doctor can't get enough MVPs. Gaben loves Witch Doctor. Moving on to guilds then, maybe a little bit more to talk about here. So guilds have been reintroduced, which we're obviously happy to see.
I think that's the big part of how it ties in with Dota Plus. Right? Like Dota Plus didn't get too much stuff besides the, everyone gets shards and the treasure, but then they also tied it in with the guilds.
Yeah.
So guilds are still going, and there's now a tier system. So at the end of each week, everyone goes on a leaderboard for the different regions or the different servers, I suppose. There's bronze, silver, gold, platinum with rewards. Bronze tier, no rewards, and all the way up to platinum, where you get 750 shards or 1,500 if you have Dota Plus. You get 3 caster chat wheels, which is very worth fighting
for. That's a pog, yeah.
Yes, and includes silver tier emoticons and gold tier sprays. So get your emoticons in. That's pretty cool. You get to throw some guilds up on leaderboards, and does that mean we get more weird, bizarre guild abuse where people DC from games and weird stuff like that? Who knows? But it's just cool to see guilds back. I don't know if I've missed anything there, but I don't know if you have any thoughts either.
I mean, so to get platinum tier, you've got to be in the top 25% of guild points for that week.
Yeah, in your region, yeah.
In your region, so incentivize him, guild game him. I think the caster chat wheels is a good enough reward, and you get a bit of a cooler colour to your guild. If you're in,
I like that it's every week as well, because there's not like this. You fell behind 2 weeks in, you'll never catch up.
True.
Type of a thing. It like keeps the carrot dangled,
keeps it fresh.
Plus, if you keep winning, I would hope you get to keep the caster lines or something. You know what I mean? Like build them up, or maybe it's the same 3 every time. I don't know. We'll have to see.
It'd be cool if they changed it every week. That'd be interesting, because then Dota would feel different every week based on what chat wheel lines were being spammed.
Yeah.
Interesting what they say about the decay. So at the end of each week, all existing guild points will decay by a percentage. So that actually means if you get platinum one week, you're more likely to get it the next week. Because it doesn't just hard reset every week. You actually keep some of the points from previous weeks.
That's fair. I mean, I think that's, as long as it's not, you automatically, because there's going to be a range of platinum people too, like the people that are, in the top 1 percentile versus the top, 25. I guess it does make sense that they don't get penalized as much because they did so well.
Also, there's a lot of guilds that don't have full membership. So I wonder if we're just going to auto get high percentage on our guild, simply because it's full. I don't know.
And people play.
Yeah, and people play, which is obviously good. Speaking of which, Marco's been making some purges. Do you have anything to defend yourself, Marco? You've just purged 3 poor guild members from this inclusive community that we have.
I mean, thoughts go out to them, but if you've not been active on Dota in the last 31 days, I mean, let's get some space for some hardcore guildie that actually will play.
Some fresh recruits.
Some fresh blood.
You heard it here first. If you don't play Dota for a month, if you want to take a break, just chill out, listen to the pod, but not play, then you're on the chopping block from this ruthless dictator of the
Yeah, try and hide. Don't tell, stay out of the watchful eyes of Marco. Don't mention anything to him.
Yeah, just play a quick turbo, just like cry through it, like abandon halfway through, just for the activity.
Yeah,
so you don't get 0. If you have a 0 next to your name, watch out. Captain Marco is on the prowl.
Yeah, definitely. Ranked season. So this is interesting for us, I suppose. Well, definitely, because Adam and Marco were terrified that they were going to have to grind for their Immortal badge again. They were sweating, waiting for this
And
ranked
calibration games in Immortal, yikes. That would be just a total flame fest.
Some top podcast material, though. Can you imagine how have games been after a tough calibration? Yeah, that would be heavy. But alas, because they don't need to reset it if they do not want to. So, basically, to avoid everyone calling at the same time and just to avoid people having to reset, it's a choice you make now. You can choose to reset your MMR and do calibrations in the settings tab, and you can make that choice at any time. Once you've made it, you can't do it again, so you don't get endless recalibrations. But you could wait for, Marco made the point, you could wait for your hero to be really OP or wait for the patch to be really good for you and then do it then, and you're going to be flying up the ranks. Do you like this change? Do you think, I know it's personally nice for you because you get to keep Immortal, but in general, how do you feel about this?
I think it's really good that they put systems in place to where everyone's not doing it at the exact same time, because that first month after the new season was awful. Like in ranked, everyone was on edge and just flaming everyone else because it's like, you cost me this game, which this game was worth 3 games worth of MMR, and you've now blown it for me. So I like how they spread it out, or not even at all, depending on what you want to do.
I remember last season's calibration, it did feel like every game was very much decided mentally at 10 minutes. And generally, that's what it felt like.
I don't know. I fucking love the calibration shitfest. I think it's like when everyone's calling at the same times, it's just fucking tense.
It is it's fucking mosh pit of all these gamer nerds just going like,
every game's a TI finals.
Yeah, it's like when you load in and everyone's unranked, it's like, fuck,
people buying smokes, people doing things they wouldn't normally do. It's awesome.
Pretty. I like it, kind of. I know it's a bit annoying also because you get all the mega tryhardness, which also makes the game sometimes a bit annoying because everyone's on their best heroes and stuff, which is obviously understandable. A lot of people do that for ranked anyway. But you don't get random sort of pudge 4s or weird stuff like that you would get in other ranked games.
And if they do pick pudge 4, they get just destroyed by their teammates.
Yeah. So
everyone picked anything off meta. It was like, what are you doing?
It's a good compromise. For me personally, I wouldn't have minded if they hard reset, just because I don't mind it as much.
What if they reset everyone to 3K?
Oh god, that'd be awful. Because
it takes people get buffed up to 3K and everyone else gets dropped down, and then it just turns into a.
That would be
worst
the worst games. Yeah.
Imagine if that happened though, where in the Valve offices some kind of glitch happened and everyone's data got wiped, and it was like, oh, sorry guys, we're back at beta T=0. Everyone's got to play from the same level again. That could be pretty fucking wild. Queue into a game with
mad.
I'm trying to think of some famous.
A Herald and crit.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get. Yeah, I'd be interested to hear the many anecdotes that Reddit will be getting about, say, if someone goes 5-5, will they go net 0? Because we have, every calibration that happens, there's wonky stuff that goes on. And yes, there always seems to be this general rule of, say, every win is ×2 and every loss is ×2, but then you get weird stories of I went 5-5 and lost MMR, or I went 6-4 and lost MMR, or I went 7-3 and got 1,000, and often weird stuff goes down, so I'll be interested to hear what it's like.
Definitely. Another bonus, I think, of this is doing it this way, where you can choose when to reset it. Also, I quite like it because I almost feel in my position, I might make a run for Divine, say, without recalling, and then if I lose 3 games net, then I'll be like, fuck it, I'll cal now.
Yeah.
So I can you kind of get, I don't know if that makes sense, but it kind of feels like you get 2 shots, yeah. And also it means that I can play ranked now without it having to be a super ranked game. I can play ranked Dota, whereas if it was recalibration automatically now, I'd probably play unranked like quite a lot before I played a calibration. Yeah. Whereas I feel happy to just like play a solo rank tomorrow. Like
the suggestion of, say, and I do kind of agree of, yeah, you lose a few games and you're like, okay, let's bring it back by doing the cals. But then if the cals were to go wrong on the back of that slide and then you find yourself 500, 600 MMR lower than where you are now, that could be the end of you, like, Dota's career. Yeah. So if you dipped back into 3K again, dropping like 700 MMR, we might never see you again.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't need to drop 700 to be back to 3K, which is a bit yikes, but yeah.
But yeah, it'd be cool to see how much swing you can do. That would be interesting.
For me, I've never been the victim of a calibration horror story. It's always been more or less plus or minus, I think 50 or something like that, or plus or minus 40 or something.
I had a healthy 2.8. Oh no, because last time what was funny is you did 2 cals, you did core and support.
Oh yeah.
And so calibrated core 3.7. I was like, can't get or maybe it was support 3.7. Can't get any worse than this. Did core 2.8. Fucking hell.
God, yeah. I remember we did pods. We were podding last calibration.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, might have even done 2 cals with pods. I can't remember.
Oh yeah, I think the last the last cals I was in this Manchester flat. I think it was 10 months ago, like December, Jan,
right? Maybe
late November. And then we lived together when there was a cal. Because I recaled at Divine 4 when we were in Liverpool and had to climb.
All right. Yeah. Cool. And then finally, on this update is this communication thing. They've written quite a lot. Is there any bits you want to highlight? I mean, I'll give you time to read it, so I'll go with the thing I wanted to highlight first, which is the patches. So rather than doing one massive patch at the post-TI, seems as though they want to do lots of bigger patches throughout the year, including adding heroes and other big changes, maybe hero reworks, because normally you see all of those things happen post-TI. All the hero reworks happen, all the massive changes, the map changes, all of those things. But it seems as though that might be spread out a little bit more this year, which I think is interesting. The reason they want to do that is to keep players engaged. Do you guys like that? Do you think that's a good thing? Because you're sort of, on the one hand, it's constantly fresh, but on the other hand, you're never really going to get that used to a patch. Like, you're not going to be getting these minor changes like, 7.27 A, B, C, D. It might be 7.27 A, B, 7.28 A, B, 7.29 with like big stuff happening, like map changes and heroes and stuff.
It feels like we've been on this patch we're on at the moment for a lifetime.
Long time, yeah.
And I don't...
Do you remember?
Go on.
No, I was going to say, do you remember last year? Last year was the same. Pre TI, the patch had been so long. I can't remember what it was. 7.25 maybe, and then 7.26 was the big one or something like that. But that patch lasted forever as well. Do you remember it was like Necro in every game, and it was like these insanely broken heroes? Yeah.
To be fair, we have had this patch for ages, but there have also been solid sound balances throughout. If you think about the monkey business and how that got patched, and I mean that the patch has changed in meta and game style quite a bit over the last few months with the kind of that tempo point, etc. But in terms of heroes and just gameplay, nothing's ever felt bad. It's just always kind of felt good and always improved, if anything. So I don't really have an issue with patches big patches having a big delay between them. I was also thinking about how there used to be the days when every 2 weeks or something, maybe 3, they said we're going to do a little mini patch to keep you updated because you're also fucking keen for content and communication from us. And then if you think about that, a patch every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that would just be way too much. So it feels like we finally swung left, right, back to this kind of stable position. And I feel, this period of big patches, a few big patches throughout the year would be sufficient. You wouldn't be craving it. You wouldn't be overwhelmed by it. Seems all right.
Yeah. What do you reckon, Adam? Do you like the sound of this? It sounds like they're teasing multiple heroes next year. It sounds like we're going to get quite a few.
I like the idea of keeping it fresh. I don't think we need to get to patch note G.
Yeah.
On it. I mean, they could even do it every 6 months and it would still be a lot fresher than what it is now. I mean, part of that is, coronavirus, and I'm sure that threw a big wrench into their plans of what they were going to do and all the tournaments and stuff. But like if every 4 months or every season they came out with a new patch, I think that would go a long way towards keeping it fresh. And they said that we're getting a new hero at the end of November and then another one in the spring, first quarter at least of next year. So that's enough for me. I like that it's one hero at a time too.
Yeah, I quite like that as well. I think it's cool with one hero. I don't mind it if it's two, but one's fine. I like the keeping it fresh point because I think for us, we're a bit more sort of try hard, people that are really into Dota and like have got high ranks and stuff. Even me, like I'm just like a crappy ancient player, but even that is like relatively whatever it is, like top 20% or something. And the majority of the players that are saying especially people that are say, whatever in the bottom 50% of ranks, or just people anywhere that are much more casual Dota players, I think that the game changing and feeling fresh is actually really important to them. I think I hear anecdotally people saying that I'm not bothered about playing now because I want the new patch, or like I want a new patch. That's why Reddit blows up asking for patches so much. People just really want changes. It really excites them. So I think it's cool. I'd love to see a sizable patch every season. I think it would be cool. It would also make a bit more sense, it's the winter 2021 patch or it's the summer 2022 patch or whatever. I think that something like that would be cool. So I like these changes. I think it's good. It's interesting what you mentioned about this patch in particular because it's a good patch, I think, for sure. The current patch is a good patch. There's quite a lot of stuff you can do. It's definitely a much better than previous patches that have lasted too long and that have just felt terrible, like last TI. But at the same time, I'm definitely ready now for like a big change. I'd definitely be up for that, especially with a hero. So that'll be cool. I'm up for the Roche changing or something wild like that. Back to the old spot. Let's go.
No.
It was weird. Roche changed. It didn't used to be. So it used to be bot. I never played it when it was bot. Believe it or not, that's weird. But also, after that, it was connected to Dire, wasn't it? It was like it was in Dire, and then they moved it to the middle of the river to try and make it even.
It was in two different spots over when it was in the bottom side of the map.
And it's been in two spots at the top as well.
It was like there's one with the opening facing towards the left, so you had to go in, I guess, eastward to get into it. And then one time it got like settled into this alcove in Dire. So then you had to kind of go northwest to get into it, if that makes sense. That's the way the opening faced.
Right.
So, yeah, it was like settled in all nice into the Dire side. And it had a pathway to the left going towards the middle tower, right?
Mm.
And then like the pathway going to the right went up towards Ancients. If Ancients were even there at the time, I don't know. That triangle has been changed so much too. Partly to accommodate Roche.
Mm. It's always interesting
really
to see map changes.
Though. I like where it is now. It allows a lot. Like you can make plays from the backside of the Roche pit where you couldn't really do that before. There was a lot of trees and
yeah, I definitely agree. I like where it is now too.
Yeah, there's a lot of space around the pit as well for just fighting.
Just a lot of heroes can throw in dukes from all over.
Yeah, it's more exposed.
It's not all fighting from the front.
And it naturally doesn't favour one side or another, whereas in the past it was always a Dire had slight advantage of Roche, which sort of balanced out Radiant's advantages in other areas and just the general Radiant advantage that seems to persist in Dota.
It's weird. I feel like the game is in such a good place that maybe they're hesitant to shake it up too much because, I mean, I don't know if it's in such a good place. That is just personal feeling and opinion. But if you think about how they've always added a lot, or they've shaken it up quite a bit in the past when I feel like it needed shaking up, and talent trees, shrines, or outposts is a kind of addition to that. New runes, things like this. A lot of changes they've done then stuck. And so we're now at a point where it's like, God, how much stuff can we change? Or do you want to change these really like well-balanced rush positions or mechanics like outposts, things like this? Like, I'll be interested to see how
they'll figure it out.
Yeah, they'll definitely
Ice
do
Frog
something.
is a god.
I mean, shrines don't exist anymore, and they were in there forever.
Yeah, so maybe they'll just recycle.
They were not in there forever.
Then
they were in there forever, and now they're not. It's like they never existed.
There used to be about 10 in your base. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, that was epic. High ground hold with the rubber band.
Yeah.
Gold mechanics. It was just like you couldn't break the base.
Oh, that was the worst. Yeah, there was a patch where it was impossible to go high ground. I hated that.
Everyone was like, okay, let's all huddle around this moon hut and heal. Oh, okay, let's go to this other moon hut and heal. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
What's happening?
The only thing that I liked about shrines on the map was that it made tier 3s a better objective because you could kill the shrine. Whereas now tier 3s aren't that big of a deal. Like, it's nice, but it's not. You basically you remove the armor aura around it and like the HP aura, which is big, but it's not like killing a shrine.
Now it's tier 2s or a tier 2 for outposts.
Tier 2s for life. Shrines were also way more important because we didn't have 5 couriers. I think that was massive for the tempo to the game. Multiple heroes heal up at the shrine and you go, but now you don't need that.
You used to be able to use the shrine at 0 minutes. So it was just like,
everyone was fucked it off.
Off laner was be like, I'm fighting, and for the rune or what, and then like go back, okay, pop the shrine, and then they made it maybe 4 minutes or 7 minutes. Like it kept getting changed because it was just too strong. And then it was like, okay,
fine.
They don't heal at all. You can just TP to them. Like,
you went for bounties and shrine at the same time at 5 minutes. It was like a classic move. Do you remember how good it felt when you shrined 5 heroes at the same time? Like the Valley Shrine. It was just like, it's unbelievable.
Or when you took a fight on your own shrine and you pop it and everyone's getting healed. Better than any mech could ever be. It's like, why did we fight into their shrine? Like that was always the classic.
Yeah.
There's so many cases where you'd be chasing a hero down, they're solo, and then they just reach the shrine and they're healing up and your right clicks just aren't killing them.
Mm-hmm.
So many throws.
Also, when you kill them just as they activate shrine, and it's like, they activate shrine. Oh,
it's down. It's like he burned his flash, like in League. Yeah,
that's nice. I actually had today. This is just like a random tangent anecdote, but I mentioned I was playing Catan earlier, and one of the people that I play with I don't know that well, so I was chatting with him, and I was like, "Oh, I've got to be done. We've got to be done by 10." They're like, "Why? I got to do a podcast about Dota." I was like, "Oh, do you know Dota 2?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, I know Dota 2 for sure. I'm like a big League player, but I know Dota 2." And I was like, "Oh fuck." Yeah, I was like, fucking bollocks. And it was funny as well because it's the conversations are so difficult because in my mind I want to like trash LOL. Do you know what I mean? But also, well, I either want to trash it. I don't really want to trash it. That's like, you know, my childhood, inner child Xbox versus PlayStation brain trying to be like, oh, your thing's bad. But I also want to have an objective conversation. But do you know when someone's so... It's the stuff they're saying
makes them appear to be like total idiot about the game. Yeah,
but you know, they're talking like they know a bit about the game, but you're so deep into Dota that obviously I'm like a Dota addict. So when they're talking about, he's telling this anecdote about, oh yeah, I played Dota like ages ago, and one of my friends plays it all the time. He's like really into Dota. I'm not into Dota, but I'm a good LOL player. So he was like, I've got good mechanics. So what I did was when we played Dota is I read a hero. I chose a hero, or he said champion, and I read everything about it. He said, I read all the lore, and I read what all the abilities did. Like, as if the lore was relevant. And I was like, okay. Yeah.
For you to cosplay, of course.
Yeah. And then it's like, so I read everything about the hero, I read the lore, and read what all the abilities did. So I didn't know anything about Dota. I didn't know any of the map. I didn't know anything. All I knew is exactly what my hero did. And then we did a 1v1 mid, purely because I like read all of what my hero did. I like crushed him and won, but I knew nothing about anything else. But I just knew what the abilities did, and I was like, do you know what I mean? I was just there like, oh yeah, cool, bro. Like, oh, it's so good. But it's awkward because I can't be like. I suppose if you play LOL, that story is definitely plausible. I suppose if you played like some Herald player or something, but
but it just depends on who did he play and like what hero matchup they had.
Yeah, and you've got like CS, which I'm sure he knows because he plays LOL. Like CS is still a thing, but I want to see the replay. Do you know what I mean? I want to see this hero that he played. Because what if you did a 1v1 mid as like, oh, let's just choose this hero that looks really cool. Io the Wisp. That sounds interesting. Let's read this guy's lore and abilities. Do you know what I mean? I just want to know. I just feel like there's so much more to that story that I wanted to know. But in the moment, I was just like, oh yeah, cool. That's sick. Yeah. Like what hero?
1v1 me scrub.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just stood up and been like, let's go fucking 1v1 upstairs, man.
Yeah, let's go. But anyway, sorry for that tangent. I don't know if anyone can relate if they've ever talked to someone about Dota that's like a League player or something.
I mean, it sounds familiar to when you talk to someone who plays Dota and they state. I was thinking you were going to say a story like this where I feel like I've been in this situation where they start sprouting opinions that are just really kind of not well informed and obviously
just objectively like false.
Objectively, like, yeah, weak opinions. And obviously, like you say, was being addicts. We know we're well committed to the game, and you got some kind of casual player that comes along that they probably think they're decent, and then they meet someone else and they're like, oh yeah, I'm going to kind of flex and like say these opinions that I state as facts and objective, and it's just like, don't like, just some like, kind of moronic opinion that is just like, oh mate, I really don't really agree with this. Like,
keep your stupid comments in your pocket.
Yeah, but you can't really say anything. So you're just like,
I've totally had that. I went to like a party once in Liverpool. There was fireworks night or something, and there was someone there that played Dota. That I can't remember what rank or what MMR he claimed to have or something, but it's exactly what you described. And he was saying, he was like, oh yeah, I was playing something like, I was playing Morphling. Do you know Morphling? And I'd be like, yeah, I know Morphling. and then he'd be like, the thing is with Morphling is like, if you don't stop it by like 15 minutes, you actually can't, lose the game if you have Morphling. You have to stop him by 15. And, and like talking about all this stuff.
This guy sounds right to me.
I know, yeah. I know, but also saying other stuff like, if you play, weird stuff like, oh yeah, Skywrath Mage. I play some Skywrath Mage, and if you get your ultimate and you combo it with all of your spells, like if you press all of them on the same target at the same time, it's really hard, like mechanically. But like I got to a point where I could press all of them like at the same time on the hero, and it would kill any hero in the game instantly. And I'd be like, what? I'm just like, oh yeah, cool, man. Like, cool. There's like nothing you can say. No, because what are you gonna be like? Oh, like, what can you even say? Like, oh, what about? You can't say anything. Like, what can you actually say? I'm
not say anything. Just let them say what they want to say.
Yeah. What about if you build a Manta style? You know what I mean? Like, what am I going to say? Yeah, there's like nothing I can say.
What if I was a Weaver and I just waddled away?
Like, yeah, I've just got to be like, oh, that's cool, man. Yeah, I love that. Fucking Skywrath, bro. Let's go. There's like nothing I can say.
I mean, it's like that at TI. I mean, you guys have been to LANs. You never overhear people talking about the game when you're in line for like food or something. Little bit, but you can. And you're just like, yeah. You're just listening to what they're saying. You're not part of the conversation. You're just like, that's wrong. That's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't mind it when you overhear it because it's just kind of passionate fans with other passionate friends having this internal combo. You're like, oh, I'll let these comments slide. Like, they're just having a good combo. I feel like it's more when it's that person you don't know, but then you've got that Dota common interest. And then they're kind of saying stuff to be like knowledgeable or
like flex on you.
Yeah. Right, yeah. And you're trying to figure out, when they start saying stuff, you're like, oh, they probably only have 500 hours played.
Yeah.
I have 8,000 hours played. Never mind. This isn't a Dota player.
Or like
yeah.
They say like making comments about like, like I played Sanking on, it's dead easy. I was just like, this game's basically any comment to say, this game's kind of easy or like
impossible one way or the other or something like that.
Yeah. Or like I'm dead good. Or like, just those statements like, Burrow Strikers, that's so OP, like, I'm so broken. Yeah. Like,
the classic one is people that
take it.
Claim that a hero is objectively more powerful than any other hero in the game. I have that a lot. I've had that plenty of times where people have been like, oh yeah, it doesn't matter what the hero is. Like, oh, Terrorblade, it's so annoying. He's been by far the most powerful hero in the game for like ever since I played Dota, and it's just annoying because like if you play it and you're a good player, you like can't lose. And I'm like, and you know what I mean, stuff like that. People have opinions about strong heroes. You know, that's the classic opinion.
I mean, I had to when I met Joe at TI, there was that initial period where we were, you have to talk to each other about the game, and it's like, oh man, is he going to say something that I'm immediately going to, in my head, be like, nope. But it did. But then that didn't happen. It's like, that's I like good. This guy. This guy has the same type of opinions about the game as I do. That means he's right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but if someone doesn't appreciate the complexity of the game, they're not like a true player. They're a 500-hour player that has just some black and white opinion and view that is A, gonna be just uninformed, and B, it's gonna be like too harsh. Like, you can only ever make these kind of balanced comments. Like, do you know what I mean? If we're gonna have a conversation about a hero, we're gonna have so much like back and forth context. But you'll have these random combos where someone's just like, oh, I know everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, the game's so deep that it's the more you know, the more you realize you don't know.
Yeah.
That's just how the game is. It's
God, we come across so snobbish right now.
We're
losing all the listeners that are like, fuck these guys, man. Terrorblade is the most powerful hero. Like,
no, I agree. After 15 minutes, you cannot beat a Morphling. Like that's objectively true.
That's an objective fact.
And let's remember, when this guy was telling you the story, that was when Morphling could morph strength during Chronosphere.
It was Marco telling me the story. He was like, I actually can't do this anymore. Post 15. I just get stunned and morph anyway. Yeah.
Objectively cannot lose on Pangolier.
Yeah, that's a true story. He's tried his best. Evidently, he's tried his best to lose with these kill scores and just can't do it.
Yeah. Let's have a disclaimer. If you've only played the game for 500 hours, you're just as much of a Dota player as any one of us.
I mean, if you're listening to the podcast, you're absolutely a Dota player.
That's 100% true, yeah. You're a hardcore.
Everyone's got to start somewhere.
Yeah. In terms of the patch, then, because I feel we haven't got too much time. There are some heroes I want to talk about, perhaps next week. Although we might have. Oh no, we were planning to do what we've just talked about next week because we were expecting the update to come out by then, but so we've already done it. So maybe next week we do an episode on heroes. In terms of the patch in general, in terms of heroes that are just objectively bad at the moment in the game. There aren't that many, but there are definitely a few that I can think of. I don't know if you guys have any heroes that you think just need some straight up buffs, but there are some that come to mind for me. PL. I haven't seen PL in the game for a long time.
Whoa. Okay, Satan, here we go. Let's not. That's the hero you choose that you want to buff?
I mean, I haven't seen PL for so long.
You want to see that? You want to see PL?
Don't mind seeing PL. I actually think he's maybe the worst hero at the moment.
No, it's Pudge.
Yeah, Pudge, I suppose.
I was going to say Pudge.
Do you want Pudge to be good, though? Because if Pudge is good, his pick rate's 50% minimum.
Pudge is impossible to balance because of Meat Hook.
I don't mind a core Pudge, though. If I get hooked or killed by a POS 1, 2, 3 Pudge, credit to the guy or girl, they just deserve the kill. But if you're a POS 4 Pudge that's a useless, waddling flesh heap,
that's
you've got zero gold, and you make a game-winning hook, I can't sit with that.
The 5 or 4 Pudge that just does nothing the entire game, and then you're breaching high ground, they hook your carry in, and then they win the game. Like, that's every Pudge game ever on the enemy team.
I agree. I want Pudge to be a viable core hero. There was a time when it was. Remember, like, Max Flesh Heap?
Yeah, Flesh Heap giving HP regen, that's what killed it. I think if you just brought that back, I would be okay with the hero.
Yeah, I don't know why they got rid of that. It's crap now. It's just magic res on the Flesh Heap.
Yeah. Now it's back to the old 4-4-0 build. Pretty much. Like, nobody gets a value point in Flesh Heap. It was really cool. I feel like Pudge with that old Flesh Heap now would be quite good because everyone's building Rings of Regen anyways in the lane. Like, he would fit right in as a 3 or as a core for sure. Yeah. So I hesitate to say, like, Pudge, you know, would need a straight-up buff, but, like, he's definitely one of the heroes I think is weak.
Yeah, for sure. Are there any other heroes that you have in mind that are, like, very, very in need of buffs?
Looking at the win rates, Sniper is really struggling in the Divine Plus. But
can you even tell if that's 4 core? Like,
I
think that
Sniper's
4 is, like, has died. I'm pretty sure.
I hated the 4 Sniper. There was too much hype on that. Yapsol did it a few times, and now everyone in the pub is doing it, and I can't be dealing with it.
You need an Ags to be a hero, so like you Ford that needs an Ags to do anything. I
was doing that as a meme for mid, and it was awesome. And then it was like somehow it became a 4 thing. Yeah, and it is just awful. It's such an awful build up.
Yeah.
Because you're
such a sigh when you're
Ags, Sniper, and all you do is pop shrapnel. Like, it's off. Just, you're the worst Lena ever. Because you would go like boots, and you just waddle up and like peep someone for 35 damage and then walk away.
Is the worst feeling ever when you played back in those days and someone on your team picked Sniper 4? It's just like, oh Jesus, we don't have a 4.
But it was so epic once you got the Ags, though.
Sure.
The other thing is that they nerfed the stun duration. That was really cool to like initiate a fight from 3,000 range.
Yeah,
I remember any amount of follow up.
Yeah, I mean, it was a crazy good spell. Do you remember, Marco, the first game we came across Sniper Ags and we didn't know what it did?
Oh my god.
And I was claiming that I was being stunned by Assassinate, and you just like weren't having it. You were like, something stunning you, and you're just like being silly, or you're like in denial.
Yeah, no, I know that 100%.
That's the most Marco thing ever.
No, but it's also the most Stan thing when he's like, fucking Gaben's glitching me, and I'm like, dude, you're just 100% to blame for your mouse clicks.
But like Marco not knowing an exchange, like that is the most. Yeah.
No, I will admit I love being like, what the fuck, the fucking pathing. I was like, fuck. Oh, this spell.
He got a regen rune every
Wow, that's reasonable. It's the bit
that's every time you're mid. It's damn runes. That's always damn runes.
I like to let people know now. I'm like, I'll say on comms, like, here comes the 50-50 for the lane, fucking every time. Or I'm like, yes, fucking haste rune. Let's go.
Or you're like, oh, I got an illusion, of course.
Yeah, classic.
Stan's pathing is a joke. We used to live together. I've heard Stan, he's yelling about his pathing. I'd look over and he's there trying to like right-click the minimap for movement. I'm like, bro, no wonder you're fucking up. 100% his fault.
I need Overwolf. You know how Overwolf only records kills and assists and deaths? I need it to record pathing.
Your APM jumps up.
I just need it to record everything.
You're spam right-clicking, trying to move.
God, pathing in Dota 2, get me out.
Or when you're just spam pinging.
Oh, spam pinging is so annoying.
Where you're just like, look what I'm doing. My pathing, I can't move.
Yeah. I need to play Tree, man. I need to play Treant, so I just don't have to bother with this like stupid pathing stuff. But then you know for a fact that if I play Treant, it'll be like, why did I come out of Invis? I never left a tree. What the fuck? Why have I died? Looking at the heroes that have poor win rates in Divine Plus, I actually think they're all fine other than Bristleback, other than Sniper as well. So we've done Sniper, who's the worst hero. The second worst hero in Divine Plus is Bristleback, and I actually think this hero is dead. Terrible hero right now.
Hero.
Nah. I don't know.
You hate Bristle.
Is it really that bad?
What, in this patch or in general?
Just as a hero, like, I mean, I've seen it stomp games, but yeah, I guess it doesn't. You have to have the good bristleback lineup.
I think in this patch it's bad because Silver Edge is such a good item. It's bought all the time.
True. Yeah, Silver Edge kill it.
Yeah, so I just think that there's never a game of Dota 2 in the current patch where there isn't a better option than Bristle. And I suppose you could say that about a hero maybe like Deucer or Kotl or Grimstroke, some of these other heroes that are up there, Gyro, Ursa, but I really think for Bristle there's always a better option. Like, there's never a game where you'd rather have a Bristle than like an Underlord or something, or, you know. There was a time when it was being played one. Do you remember, like, POS 1 Bristle?
Okay. Yeah.
But it's just not a thing.
Or the Kotl Bristle.
Yeah, Kotl Bristle, I suppose, is still maybe doable. But these other heroes, so just to list a few: Grimstroke, Keeper of the Light, Medusa, Ursa, Gyro, Odie, a Pudge. So Pudge is a special case. We already sort of talked about him. And then you're getting to like Kunkka, Wraith King, Ench, Morph, and these heroes are fine.
Yeah, those heroes are fine. What about like Darkseer? I think Darkseer is kind of weak. Do
you?
I mean, it's just a pick rate thing.
Yeah,
I don't know. He's kind of. It's like. His like damage spells are. It's like Ion Shell is such an afterthought, but Vacuum's really good, and Surge is really good, and the Wall is really good. I guess maybe he's just boring.
Yeah, I mean, he's got an alright win rate, Divine plus 52%. The thing with Darkseer is he's always a hero that suffers from the fact that Valve has to balance around pro games rather than pubs. So he's always going to be relatively underpowered in pubs. Having said that, he does have 52% win rate. But I just think he'll always be better used in pros because of the Surge spell.
Here's one. Meepo.
Yes. Amen. Meepo is pretty trash at the moment.
Like, actually, unironically, I think Meepo's bad.
Yeah, I totally agree. Meepo is bad. You don't see him. You don't see people spamming Meepo that much. His win rate's good, but his pick rate's abysmal. It's 1.3%. That's as low as I've ever seen it.
What's Brood? Because Brood is like okay from a spam perspective as a hero. I haven't seen a lot of Brood spammer, Meepo spammer, so I think now, or Tinker, really. It's like Arc Warden.
You don't see Huskar either. It's really not a patch for cheese heroes, I would say. Like the Huskar, Brood, Meepo, there are definitely patches where those heroes are really good and you just get cheesed out by one of them. Or like you could throw Visage in there as well.
Yeah, it's like they pick Alk and Arc Warden now.
Games are too hard to end quick. Even if you are absolutely stomping, and it's hard to end pre-25. So, yeah, you don't want a hero that dies twice and it's over.
Yeah. I mean, Huskar is really, really bad. I just think Huskar's terrible. I haven't seen Huskar win a game in like forever. Like, actually forever. He's 1.5% pick rate and 49% win rate. That's very, very bad for Huskar. That's what,
like, I don't want to advocate for these type of heroes.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I like seeing them in pro games, though. Like, I love seeing a Huskar come out in a pro game because it's like, oh, it's just exciting. But in pubs, I totally agree. I do not want to see that, for sure. But yeah, beyond that, I think it goes to show that the patch is in a really good place. You see a hero like Gyro or Ursa, or Grimstroke, Wraith King, Morph, Ember. These are heroes you see in pro games all the time. They're in the bottom 20 of heroes in pubs. So I think that indicates that it's quite a nice patch. You definitely would say Ember and Morphling are eminently playable in pubs, perhaps even good heroes. And yet they find themselves at the bottom of this list. And that shows that all these heroes are super playable, other than maybe these cheese heroes that have their numbers inflated by boosters and smurfs and whatever. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what you guys think, like, in general about the patch. Do you think it's like a good patch, or?
Yeah, I think it's really
played
good
a lot on it. Yeah, I've really enjoyed it.
I couldn't really pick out anyone that I feel.
What about Brewmaster?
Yeah, he's always been a bit crap, I feel.
I haven't seen that hero you see that hero like once every 200 games.
You he's had spell changes, and I can't keep up with them. I mean, he got his spells changed a year or two ago, and I've still never read them. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they changed again.
Yeah.
I've seen him a bit, to be fair. He's not been completely absent from my games like some heroes have. I never see Abaddon. I haven't seen Abba in ages. I've never played Brewmaster, by the way. He's one of the 2 heroes that I've never played in my life.
Micro hero as well.
I know, yeah. I sort of, in my mind, I'm a Brew player, but actually it's one of 2 heroes I've never played. The other, well, do you want to have a quick guess?
Techies.
No, of course I played Techies. Do you not remember when I first got into Dota and I messaged you like, oh, this Techies hero sounds well fun, and you were like, no, stop now. Turn off your computer.
Chen?
No, I love a bit of Chen. It's a support hero. It's a POS 5 that's occasionally played as a POS 4, very occasionally as a 3, and I've seen one pro player play mid in like 1 or 2 games. But it's basically a POS 5.
You will have played Ancient Apparition.
Yes.
What are we guessing?
The other hero I've never played, other than Brewmaster.
Oracle?
No, I've done Oracle. It's a hero that at TI 8 was considered the most broken POS 5 at TI 8.
Oh, God.
Because of a spell, one spell in particular. Cast your minds back to a time.
Enchantress?
SD, yeah, Shadow Demon.
Oh, SD.
Soul Catcher.
Oh, yeah. Soul Catcher, yeah.
Soul Catcher TI 8.
Pog support.
Yeah,
Undervalued by community.
Great hero.
He's a weird one though, because he's a funny hero because the laning's all about the poison, but then later on the poison's not a thing.
Say that, but if you get 15 minutes in the game, if you get about 5-6 stacks on someone, it's about 600 damage. You can do plays, which is why I like it.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah, I feel like, do we have anything to add? Anything we want to throw in about either the patch or about updates or anything at all?
I had a longer flame corner that I can push.
No, I think do the flame corner now.
Well, I kind of got 2 points. One of them is a short one. The other one's a bit more involved. So I'll do the short one.
Okay, cool.
The short one is, it just came to my mind whilst we were talking about when you talking about you spamming clicks, and it made me think about the people using BKB too eagerly. That's a word, right?
Eagerly.
Yep. Using BKB too soon, I would like to call out, and I see it a lot. And it's good that items are being pressed, but BKB is one that during a fight maybe lasts 20, 30 seconds, so that when you choose that 10 seconds is critical. And too often people kind of shit themselves and use it, and it's pointless. And then it finishes, and then it becomes useful, and you don't have it. So it's not really a flame, because that's kind of harsh to flame someone for using BKB at the wrong time. But I guess it's kind of a constructive criticism to not use BKB straight away when a fight starts.
Yeah,
unless you're initiating.
Unless you're initiating, perhaps. But even then, like, you need to squeeze out your optimal BKB 99 times out of 100, maybe 9 times out of 10. You will not want to be using it at the very beginning, because, I mean, if you initiate on someone, say if they don't have some instant disable, you don't need to panic use it. Like if you're a void and you chrono someone and there's no fissure, say, or some weird long range disable, and or no one's around just quite yet, hold it 5 seconds. Then someone appears and you use it and jump on them and kill them. Just, you don't have to panic use it. And I think people panic use BKB a lot.
Yeah, you want to use it for a reason. Like, it's also fine to, you know, we see it where a void, for example, I think void's a good example. There's like a lion near you. You don't need to pop BKB just to like not get hexed if you're not going to achieve anything. If he's got like Ghost Scepter in a blink, it's like, oh great, you pop BKB to hit this line and then he just Ghost Scepters and you've done nothing. It's like, great. You only want to use BKB if it's literally, you're hitting someone for sure. And like you say, even then, when there's like an instant threat to you, like you've chronoed someone and you know that there's a Hex or a Fissure or something like that, you don't want to do it for other reasons.
There are times when you could say start the initiation and you don't have that vision. Maybe you're on a low ground or in the river, and so you want to make sure. And if it's a key kill in the chrono, say, then that often is going to be wise. But I feel often fights will happen where you do have vision, or it's quite like it's a fight where everyone kind of sees what's going on, and it's not all exploding in 1 second. It over the course of 30 seconds. So in that case, when you've got that more information, you don't need to panic and use it just because you see an enemy hero. Unless it's a kind of game where one disable is the end of you, you don't need to panic use it. You can hold it, and then use it, and then jump in, and then wipe everyone.
Well, there you go.
That comment is definitely a kind of comment corner to end on my other point. My other point gets me boiling, but I'll leave it next week.
Gets me boiling.
There you go. Get excited next week. Unless anything else changes, next week we'll do a look at some heroes, although I feel like I promise next week's episode all the time. It's never what I've promised, so just apologies in advance for that. Join us again then, though, and until then, have a final whistle.